This part should be getting boring because you're going to hear it over and over and over and over. But remember, when you see the symbol, pause, go back, take any notes you need to. If you don't need to take any notes or you're all done, feel free to go on to the next part. Today's objective. The student will be able to multiply whole numbers. This will be done through a presentation and classroom activity. Remember, the presentation is what you're watching now. The classroom activity, we're going to do some check for understanding activities in class to make sure you understand what we did. Multiplying is not that hard. People get frustrated with it, but take your time, pay attention to the lecture, and then you should be able to understand it by the end of the lecture. I apologize ahead of time. We're starting the multiplication. This timing of this video might not be perfect, so I'm sorry if it isn't. But here we go. 4 times 5. What does multiplication mean? What it means is when you have 4 times 5, you have to take a group of 4 objects, balls, whatever. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm using circles, balls, marbles, bubbles, whatever you want to call it. Then you take 4. Now we have times 5. You take 5 groups of 4. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you actually count all those balls up right now, you're going to have 20. So basically what that means is 4 times 5 is 20. Or we have it's the same either way. Like I said, multiplication and addition, it doesn't matter the order. Because if you take 5 groups and you do it 4 times, you're going to have 5 times 4, which is 20, the same thing. Another way, or to look at this, is 5 times 4 would take 4 groups of 5. 5 groups of 4. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 20. So if you have to write that down every single time to figure out the problem, do it. More power to you. Or, the same thing. 5 4 times. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 20. No matter what, we came to the same conclusion. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 20. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 20. So either way, no matter which way we did it, we got to 20 as our final answer. So that's a few different ways you can do it. This might take you a few minutes to do the problems first time because it's going to eventually take memory to do the problem. If you have to rewatch the slide, that's fine, but it might take you some time. You're not going to get 4 times 5 is 20. You might have to write it down or add 4 plus 4 equals 8, plus 4 again, which would equal 12, plus 4 again equals 16, plus 4 again equals 20. You might have to do that. It might take a little bit of time, but that's okay. At the end of the day, as long as we get to the right answer, you're good to go. You may or may not need to pause at this part of the video. The reason I did give the pause point here is there was a little bit of information there that might take you some time to go over. I only spoke for 3 minutes, but there's a lot of information in that 3 minutes. But right now we're going to go on to the 9 trick. So the best way I can have you do this is go and stick your hands on the keyboard, on the screen, and follow along when I'm doing this. So if you put both of your hands on the screen, you'll kind of look like the hands I have over there. So the first one, we're going to do 9 times 7. So I'm going to drop a finger down for times 7. So 1, 2, lower the fingers I'm doing, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I stopped at the 7th finger. So now we're going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 fingers on that left side, so we take that 6, and the 6 is going to be the first part of the number. And now we have 1, 2, 3 left over. So the answer to 6 times 7 is 63. So again, put the hands on the screen and follow along. 9 times 3. So we're going to drop down our 3rd finger. 1, 2, 3. We're going to put our 3rd finger down. So now we're going to count 1, 2. So the first part of our answer is going to be 2. Let's see what's next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the next part of our answer is going to be 7. So our answer is 27. One last one to make sure you guys understand it. If it doesn't make sense, I'll try to re-explain it to you guys tomorrow in class. But 9 times 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You put your 5th finger down. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first number in our answer is going to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The second answer in our number in our answer is going to be 5. So again, here's another pause screen. You may not use it. You may use it. But again, there's a lot of information going on right over here for your notes. So if you didn't use it, feel free to go on to the next slide. This next part is basic addition, not basic addition, basic multiplication. So these shouldn't take too long. Please do all 9 problems. It shouldn't take forever. So go through, do the 9, and then after I start speaking, a few seconds after I start speaking, it's going to give you all the answers to the problems. If you get them wrong, go back, find out why you got them wrong, and then hopefully you get them right then. Okay, we are going into standard multiplication. You may hear me refer to this as long multiplication in class because it takes a long time to do it. That's why I call it long multiplication, kind of like long division. But just so you know, if I'm referring to long multiplication, this is what I'm referring to as. And as also a little disclaimer, the timing might not be perfect. I'm not a computer genius. I'm trying to get these as best and close as I can to my words, but if they don't, so it doesn't match up perfectly with what's going on with I'm saying, I am sorry. But we are going to go to our first question. The first question is 34 times 3. So the first thing we want to do is I'll rewrite the problem on the other side over there, and all we want to take is the 4 times the 3. You're welcome to use the multiplication table any time after the first test. So right now you might have to write out 4 times 3, which will equal 12. So we have to put the 2 down on the bottom, and the 1, just like addition, it's a carried number on top. So now we bring back the 3. We'll cover up the 4 because we don't need it right now. We need 3 times 3, which is going to equal 9. 9 plus our carried 1 equals 10. So our answer to 3 times 3, not 3 times 3, 34 times 3 is 102. Okay, this next one's going to have a few more steps. This one is going to be 24 times 45. So first thing we're going to do, after we write the problem, we're going to take 5 times 4. 5 times 4, we know from earlier, is 20. Put the 0 on bottom, we put the 2 up top. We're going to use that again in a minute. So now we're done with the 4 for now, and it's going to be 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is going to be 10. Plus our little carried 2, so 10 plus 2 is 12. So now we're going to bring back all the numbers. We're done with the 5. You have to put something called a place filler in. You can use an X or a 0. Both of them are acceptable. So now, after we get rid of our carried number, we're going to take 4 times 4. It's going to be 16. So you put the 6 on the bottom. The 1 on top is the carried number. We're going to bring back the 2. Get rid of the 4. 4 times 2 is going to be 8. 8 plus 1 is going to be 9. So now that we're done with all this, we have to add all of them up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 6 is 8. And 1 plus 9 is 10. So our answer to 24 plus 45 is 1080. Okay, this one's going to be pretty long, and this is the problem people usually mess up on the first test. So it does have a few steps to it, so take your time. Feel free to go back to this part of the video too and rewatch it if you mess up. So 316 times 213. We're going to rewrite the problem. We don't need the bottom 2 numbers first, so we're just going to take 3. Actually, bottom 2 numbers are top 2 numbers. 3 times 6. 3 times 6 is going to be 18. So we put the 8 on the bottom, we carry the 1. 3 times 1 is going to be 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 times 3 is going to be 9. So again, we're going to put a place filler, a 0, an X, some kind of place filler, a 0x, whatever I want to do. So now we're going to bring back the 1. So 1 times 6 is going to be 6. 1 times 1 is going to be 1. 1 times 3 is going to be 3. This is one of the steps people forget now. Now that we're done with the two numbers, because we're done with the 3 and we're done with the 1, we have to put in two place fillers, two x's or two zeros, whatever your place fillers want to be. So 2 times 6 is now going to be 12. Put the 2 in the bottom, we carry the 1. 2 times 1 is going to be 2, plus the 1 is going to be 3. 2 times 3 is going to be 6. So now remember when we did the 3 layer by 3 layer addition, this is where this comes into play, because we have to add all these numbers up now. 8 plus 0 is going to be 8. 4 plus 6 is going to be 10, so we carry the 1. Now 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 2 equals 13. And now we have 1 plus 3 equals 7. And then the last 6 plus itself is 6. So the answer to 316 times 213 is 67,308. This is your chance to pause, take any notes, go back, maybe brain decompress for a while because there's a lot of information that happened there in a short amount of time, and then go on to the next section so we can practice the problems. So for this next section, if you get them wrong, it's okay. Spend the whole time, do all 7 problems. Tomorrow in class, again, we're going to do check for understanding like we always do. If you don't get it, don't beat yourself up over it. Just go on. After this, it's just a recap, and we're going to re-explain the objective if you get it wrong. So feel free, try all these problems. Make sure you show your work, because especially tomorrow when you're saying, Mr. Beuthin, I got the last one wrong, or I got the third one wrong, I can look at your work and see why we got it wrong together. So I'm going to stop talking now, do these problems, and hopefully you get them right. Okay, to recap, you guys should know how to multiply basic numbers, one number times one number, and why multiplication is grouping of number sets. Then after, I showed you guys the 9 trick. For some reason, some people get it, some people don't. I'll re-show it again in class tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of check for understanding tomorrow, because these are concepts that not everyone gets. But we're going to do the multiplication. And then I showed you standard multiplication, or as Mr. Beuthin calls it, long multiplication. I think a few guys might struggle with that 3 by 3 because there's a lot of steps to it. There's a lot of places you can make little tiny math errors and get it wrong. So hopefully you guys did it pretty good today. If you didn't, we'll go over it in class tomorrow. Our objective, the student will be able to multiply whole numbers. This will be done through a presentation and a classroom activity. The classroom activity tomorrow will be check for understanding. Hopefully I didn't hurt your guys' head too much going through this, but have a good night, you guys.